that. Oh, shoot. How is everybody? How's everybody's week been going? Tops, what's up, buddy? Billy, what's going on? There's James. I may have to switch spots because my dog will hear me talking. He's got a freaking bark every time he hears my voice. I was climbing Friday. I was talking to Pine. I cut my lanyard. Oh, I stopped to cut vines, banging 15. That quick. Caught myself tied back. Yeah. Good. 100%, James. Definitely try to, especially if you're running a saw or doing some cuts. There's those weird situations where you're on something that's unpredictable and you can't lanyard in, but normally in those cases you're attacking it from above it and making a cut, and so like you're cutting way down below where you're tying. There's no chance of hitting it. You're reaching down, but found myself in some pretty gnarly spots this weekend, and I'll give you guys. Actually, I tell you what I'll do. I will give you guys a like a sneak peek of what happened, and we'll just do like I'll go through my camera and I'll just hit the beginning of the videos, and we'll watch like the first minute or so, and we'll talk about it and stuff. I think I can do that. I got my camera here, so we'll see. But yeah, James, just like Billy said, glad you didn't get hurt, man. That's crazy. How you been, Billy? Rob, what's up, bud? I can't hear anything. Let me see. What about now? Can you hear? Are we good again? I hope. Oh, okay. So you guys did hear me. Okay, right on. Because I got my phone like hanging off, about to fall off. I thought it was it was over the mic hole or something like that. So, can you guys hear Mike? I got nothing. Yeah, Billy, I think it's good everywhere else. What's up, Clint? Oh, dang! I should have had Ground Pounder get a hold of you, Clint, and I should have had you on. I I'm like, I don't know. I got some personal stuff that kind of went down. I'll explain later on after I just need to get through it. I don't want to discuss it. So, and I didn't want to do like a personal live. So I kind of tried to reach out to a few people, but it's my own fault. Very last second trying to see if anybody wanted to do a live together, and I should have just chilled. But yeah. So that's the reason for my thumbnail and the like title of this video. I just kind of want to talk about something else. And I do want to touch on that. But you know what? I'm sure we may end up with someone stalking the video, so we'll make them have to watch for a while too before I explain. So. What's Clint been up to? I can hear. Okay, I've been hearing Mike fine. Okay, cool. Just finished dinner. Right on. Right on. Okay. At the stepkids football practice. Cool. Yeah. Do you guys want a video on how to unflood any chainsaw? Like I didn't like. I thought about that, and that's a video that I've always wanted to do. But I'm like, I feel like my audience may be a little too advanced in the tree world to really care for the video. And it, like, if it's not going to help anybody and I'm just stating an obvious fact, like, there's no reason for me really to do it personally. But I think there could be some people out there. I can show you how to. If a lot of times what happens when people go to just start a chainsaw, they flood the saw. So I can show you a trick to always get the saw started. Like, I'll purposely in front of you flood a chainsaw completely as much as I can, and I promise you I'll get that saw started shortly after. There's a trick to it, and it maybe it kind of breaks what like a rule for someone else, but there's it's just a way to, when a guy gets way out in the woods, gets in a spot where he's in a bad situation, this could keep him from having to turn around and go get a different saw, or thinking his saw's messed up and taking it into a shop. I've seen so many times where, especially older men, maybe you're a bit richer, you're not like, you don't mess with chainsaws a whole bunch. So you didn't know, you thought your saw's all messed up, and really all it is, you filed the plug out. So a parts place or a repair place will replace your plug for no reason and charge you. So maybe I'll do a short on that, and just so it's not like taking up too much space on the channel. It's not getting so much like attention on it, but I think it's something that people could probably get some use out of. But I don't know if everybody's screen is split in half, because mine is, because I did plan on trying to have somebody, and I have to make the decision if I want to do that when I set the live up, which is kind of weird. They should let me just do it whenever, but I have to make that decision then, so which forces the video to be vertical for me. So I don't know if that's the same for you guys. I mean, what's the trick? Yeah, it's simple. I'll explain it to you guys since I brought it up. It's kind of, I guess it is kind of silly for me to just bring it up for no reason and not say anything. But any chainsaw, you file out. I'm trying to look for, all my top handles are so covered up right now. But okay, you file a plug out. I need to have a saw to show you. I don't. Let's do this. I'll show you something else too. Look at this stupid stuff that happened. So this is a, let's see if it's got any gas. It's got enough gas to get flooded real good. So 201. The way they work. Did I sharpen that? Yeah, I did. Sweet. I should have tried this. So the way the triggers work, that's all. So if you notice, it was on choke. The reason I put it on choke is when I go to clean the air filters, which you should do all the time on your top handles, you can, oh my, that hasn't been cleaned since the last time it got used. But see, when I say clean them every time, that's one use, one job. So I put the choke on because it closes your flapper off and your carb, so you don't get no junk in there. Okay. So, Monty, stop. Knock it off. So here, I showed you. That's choke. When you hit the gas, the trigger, it bounces it up to run, and then that's off. So let's just get it to run real quick. That's fired. So usually with almost every steel, it's like 2 or 3. Oh, I'm gonna kill him. Go, lay down now. So like usually it's like 3 pulls, maybe 4, and usually 3 with any of my saws. It fires, and then you go to start it. So we know it runs. Okay, 1. The plug is so bad. So it's warmed up. Now what we're gonna do is just flood it. Put it on choke and just pull it. Keep pulling it. I can smell it. It reeks of gas right now. So now to get it to start, you just put it on run. Always, if you're gonna do this, because with back handle saws, I would suggest resting it on the bar on a piece of wood and doing this. But always put your brake on, then put it on run. Like there's choke. Put it up on run. Hold the gas trigger down. Hold it down and just keep pulling. That works every single time, no matter what. You're gonna have to burn all that gas off basically by striking it over and over and over and over, and it will clear itself off. Don't give up. Just keep pulling. It'll fire. And you'll notice it smoked like crazy because the plug was completely fouled out. So that's the reason it smoked. Yeah, that's that. I don't want to put that. I'm going to put that board. Hang on, I left my door open. Barking again. Okay, so if you look right there, see my fence smashed in? Right there. It smashed it all up. It broke a big section out of this tree. Get it all on camera. Here you can see the part it broke out, this whole area here. So I've done some corrective stuff to it to try to get it to start filling back in as quick as possible, but it broke out 3 or 4 leads. Took this whole bottom one here off completely, big time. It was a huge limb, and then 2 or 3 up above it, like one there, maybe another one in there or something. But yeah, quite the pain. It was aggravating. Of course, almost everybody else's trees were fine, but the tree guy's trees were trash. And it's like, come on, dang it, that's embarrassing. Yeah. So hopefully that helps and made sense too. Barack Obama, what is up? I see Barack over there. I'm gonna like skip a few comments. I just want a cheap Troy build. Mike, what kind of a plug do you run? I'm trying to remember what kind they are. They may be Bosch. I don't know. I just get them from my dealership, like a steel dealership. So they usually sell the same ones. Or it may be a 3 letters. Like what I seen somebody put something there. FPV. It may be those. It's like a yellow box, yellow and red. Oh, cool. Somebody get a drone? Did I miss that comment? Who did I see? Oh, what's up, Dan? What's up, buddy? How are you? Doing good, Bridge Burner. How you doing, buddy? NGK. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. It is. It's NGK. Um, so because I remember thinking MGK when I read it. So yeah. Um, stopped in, say what's up, Mike, and stuff. Okay, what's up? What is all this Noker not? Oh my. Hey, okay. First of all, now how long have I made him wait? Almost 16 minutes. So I made you sit through 16 minutes of uh of me just rambling to explain that the title doesn't say Nokers. If you look close, the title of the video is No One Curves. I know if you glance at it, it may read Nokers, but it's technically No One Curves because no one cares about all that BS. People are watching it for the car crash. I have seen a billion people that he thinks are his supporters and fans, and what they're doing is stirring him up, and then they're jumping to the other people and stirring them up, and they're jumping back and forth, and they're stirring everything up big time so that they can watch for their own entertainment, which is, I mean, you can do whatever you want. That's trolling. You know, it happens. That's just the way it is. And if, like, personally, I don't agree with any, like, almost any of the stuff he kind of does or says. Like, he admits to lying all the time or being wrong, and then has this false confidence of he's never wrong, which is unbelievable because he even himself admits that his first two theories were wrong, but the third theory he tagged it, planned it, and got it. He's mastered it. You're not my master. I see there. Um, I don't know what it is. Oh, it's okay. It is a Noker chainsaw is a Chinese clone chainsaw. It may be good quality. It may be complete trash. I don't know. I don't know. And I think it's probably going to be hard to get a consistent, like, for the price point that you get them at. That's where quality control isn't being, you know, integrated as much. They're not so much concerned with that. That's the reason the price point can be so low, and it can be worth your while to get it and maybe fix it or mess with it. I don't know. I think you could probably get an amazing one, and I think there's probably a lemon every once in a while. That kind of stuff happens with anything. Um, I also think that it is beyond narcissistic to begin to get angry over another company's product and that somebody does not like it. This man does not make these chainsaws. He's got this delusional agreement, apparently, that he thinks he is the only one in the United States of America or Canada that can receive or get these saws. I don't care enough. No one curves, okay? I could probably spend enough time and I could get one of them chainsaws if I try hard enough. You're not going to convince me that they don't want to sell chainsaws because all he says is they're the best saws in the world. Then out of the other side of his mouth, he says, I don't sell chainsaws. Never have. Which one is it, man? Do you sell Noker chainsaws or do you not? And it's like he spends too much time talking out of both sides of his mouth, but he can do whatever he wants. That's the, like, brilliance of America, you know? And if he wants to sell them chainsaws, he can do that. And if he wants to be a car salesman all over the internet and accuse people of crazy stuff, I guess he has the right to do that. But I don't I don't get it. Doug Shills for Neotech though, probably, probably. I mean, you you guys know how that is. If somebody does you right, you do them right. So if Neotech is hooking Doug up in any way, whether it solely be a discount, maybe he doesn't have to pay shipping, whatever it is, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Which brings me to my main point about all this. You want to start a YouTube channel? Okay. You don't want you don't want everybody there for a car crash because you can't have a car crash every day. It's not. It doesn't work that way. People are gonna tune in for that car crash, but when that's the basis for your channel, that's kind of a bummer. Like people are watching not to support, and it's like I wish the guy would realize this and tune back on the I'm suing everybody and it's a conspiracy and like the paranoia. Focus on whatever it is that he wants to do and stay on that track. If he spent half the time improving these chainsaws like he says he's doing, or giving working on them and dedicating it to them, they they would be being sold next to Steel, Husqvarna, and Echo because man, he is so stuck on this like fraudulent like review and this and that. People are allowed to have their own opinion. If that guy ordered a chainsaw and he opened it up and when he looked at it, it didn't look good, that is what it is, man. You cannot change that. You don't get the right to change it. And that man does not have to tell you where he gets his stuff. You don't have to tell his audience where he gets his stuff. He's got one. That's it. Now, Doug showed the cylinder. Steve got mad. So that's not his cylinder. Then admitted, which he's probably maybe already deleted it or changed his opinion on this and went the other direction. He had never opened a cylinder, ever. Had never looked at a cylinder, so he had never cracked one open. Didn't own the tools. Went out and bought the tools live on a short. I went down this rabbit hole, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm watching it for the car crash. I tuned in because I thought it was pretty neat that there was a channel dedicated to a Chinese knockoff chainsaw, and I was curious, how's it run? Let's see what happens with it. And this all happened out of nowhere. I'm always stuck around because I'm watching the car crash. I done got invested too much, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of my time on my channel talking about him or what he's got going on or just the chaos in general. But he's got to also understand that would be like me getting on here and having a YouTube channel where I talk to you guys about mechanic tools, okay? And how much I love mechanic tools and how I want you guys to buy the best of the best and get the best deal on mechanic tools. And I focus everything on that, and that's my world. And then at the same time, I say, I don't give a damn about the mechanics. Those guys that use them tools, um, they don't mean nothing to me. The mechanic, like the industry, trash. All because maybe a couple of them guys didn't agree with what I was saying. He's came in, he's just too standoffish and thinks he can control too many things. Stop trying to control so much. You can't. You won't. So they just need to relax, man. There's no need for this. Had some cylinders opened up, and when they opened them up, they looked the same as the one I seen Doug do. That is my own. That's just my opinion on what I seen physically from both. The one Doug opened looked very similar and had the very similar issues as the ones he had his buddies opened up. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I think if you want to start a channel, you don't go at the industry that you're trying to get into and start burning bridges instantly. You should show them people some respect, because if you love these chainsaws and stuff, the guys who use these things day in and day out, you should have some respect for. And you should maybe value their opinion a little bit more instead of being so self-centered that you think you know all. And you just started getting into chainsaws the other day. So it's like, or maybe you've been doing it for years. I don't really, it doesn't matter. I stopped watching that drama. It's very, and I like when it was happening, I was checking and updating and stuff and watching it. Now I'm just, if I get bored, I'll scroll to his page. I had to unsubscribe because I'm not subscribing to his channel because I don't want his notifications every 50 minutes. But every once in a while, I'll shoot over and see what his latest video says, and it's always the same thing. It's right back. It's right back at his fraudulent review, and it's a big conspiracy, and it's nothing about NO11KERS chainsaws. He went to somebody else's job site and was this close. He admitted it. This close to lying and telling everybody that his NO11KERS chainsaw cut this big log and tree up. Jerk. But then he's like, "Nah, I didn't. I was going to tell you guys my NO11KERS cut this up, but this is somebody else's work." But he admit I was this close, because it's okay to tell a fib if it gets your point across that you're trying to get across. We're different people. He's a different kind of person than some of the guys that are in this industry. I don't know if he understands this, but his very soft, emotional, having too many feelings self, he's the outcast in this industry, in the chainsaw industry. These hillbillies and stuff that you think are so much smarter than, these country boys that you think because they carried a pistol and addressed you in a video that they threatened your life. Like, that's unreal. So that is what it is. Now, you guys tell me. I don't even want to talk about none of that no more. I thought it was funny because I heard him say, like, if anyone says anything negative about NO11KERS chainsaws, you got yourself in the lawsuit. So I'm like, what? You can't tell me what I can talk about, man. And you can't tell me what my opinion of something is. I'll be an honest person. If I buy a steel chainsaw and it ends up being trash, you know what I'm going to tell you guys? It was trash. I mean, what am I going to do? I can lie? And I just don't get where that gets anybody anywhere. So, you guys tell me what you want. I'll do whatever videos you want. I got my rigging gear here. I can get my climbing gear out. I can do whatever. You guys want a demo on something? I'll do whatever you want. Or if you guys want, I'll give you a sneak peek of the chaos that I got into, where this massive oak tree fell across out of this wooded area, across the road, through a pole barn, and it needed to be lifted up and moved without it. What was holding the whole tree was a 2x6. And it needed to be lifted up because it hadn't yet smashed a really nice lawnmower, ATV, a bunch of stuff. So I can show you that, or I can go into whatever else. It doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna catch up on comments now. Hey, here's Jerry. Check this out. Let's do this. I'm gonna jump ahead on comments.
Hey, Mike.
What up, man?
How's it going?
It's going.
Sorry, what's that?
Do you have a long one?
What?
You have a long day?
Yeah, I'm just getting back.
What were you guys doing?
We were working on a couple big pines, forktop pine, and what else? One we just fell, the other one we climbed and topped out, and we'll use the one tree to rig out another one tomorrow.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, this is Jerry. I think it's pronounced Padilla.
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 Yeah.
Okay, I'm adding L's and stuff. I need to chill out. All right. So, how long have you been doing tree work?
Well, kind of all my life, but not tree service stuff. I started working with Cal Fire and the U.S. Forest Service when I was 19, and I just was brushing and cutting, and I worked on a hotshot crew for a long time.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and so in 2011, I became a USDA certified climber, and I was climbing for the Forest Service. And then I got a couple kids, and I thought, I can't be on the road all the time, so I just went out on my own. And it's kind of crazy, but I've actually never worked for a tree service company. I've just owned one.
That is awesome.
I mean, like I knew how to climb and everything. But I just had never, I never worked for anybody else in the industry, and I didn't know I just kind of figured it out, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you can figure out parts of it that you liked and it kind of got you into it, and it's like, well, hold up, I like running a chainsaw, and I can make a buck at this.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
No, it was it was pretty hairy at first. I mean, like I said, I'd climbed and I took out some trees for the government, but as far as the business and the workflow of things and scheduling and management, all that was I had no clue. And I I think I spent like maybe like 15 or 1800 bucks. I just bought like a Wesper climbing kit, and I mean, I knew all the gear that I needed because like the Forest Service had all the gear, and like we'd used it. It's just it wasn't mine, and so I bought like the bare bones gear, and I only got jobs that I could do with the gear that I had, and the money
Mhm.
that I made, I would buy more gear, and it just like we had the knowledge, but we didn't have the gear, and now everything you see on our videos is that's not rented equipment, that's ours, and
That's
so
all.
it's been a wild ride.
Where are you located?
I'm the last county in California. I'm right on the Oregon border.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
There's
so you deal with some hogs.
Yeah, there's no ocean here, and there's
That,
a lot of big timber and logging industry here.
yeah, see, that's what I find wild because, like, when you guys can do stuff and it be logged, where I'm at, they won't touch a tree unless they know where it came from. Like, if it's anywhere inside of city limits, they're like, nah, we don't want it.
Right.
Which is crazy. It seems like for you guys, it's a little easier. Maybe just people don't, maybe they don't hammer as many nails in California as they do in Missouri. I don't know. But yeah, they won't touch anything unless they know for sure it came from a wooded area that's like special for logging almost. So it's like, man,
Yeah, like man, I wish I had a picture to show you, but it's it's vast timber where we're at. I mean, there's hundreds of miles of
it's
nothing
thick,
timber, and so we're logging not as much as we used to, but we're logging all the time, and it's hard to even tell.
really.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, but the thing that's driving our business right now is California fire and insurance companies.
Yeah. Yeah. We just had ignorant storms come through and blew a bunch of people's trees over. It's kind of been a headache for the past few days. So
Yeah,
actually, yeah, trees was down here. I don't know if you know who they are on YouTube. Yeah,
I
they
do.
were
Or
they
yeah,
were in my town just the other day, but I have some stuff going on, like personal stuff, and it just happened that day, and it bums me out because any other day I would have stopped and talked to him because I know him, but I had so much stuff going on that day. I like, passed them up and just didn't care at the time. I was like, "That's cool," and then drove by. And then the next day, I was like, "Dang, I wish I would have went and said something." Because what's the odds they're going to be back in my little podunk town again? They
yeah.
stuck out like a sore thumb.
I like those guys. Seem pretty rowdy. I like them.
Yeah, yeah. I like seeing the different ways that it changes from region to region, and I like seeing it done a different way, a different style. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Like
It's
watching him walk across the parking lot in his knee-high boots and Daisy Dukes. That was funny to tell. So it was like, man, check him out. People in my town are like, what in the hell is that?
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's pretty funny. We've had some crazy storms, especially for them guys to have showed up. It must have been on the news and stuff. So,
Yeah. I worked I think in 2005 I worked down in Biloxi, Mississippi right after Katrina and during Rita
okay,
into the south. It was a trip, man. It's like that flat ground. I got so lost in that flat ground.
really, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if I could do all that. I don't like storm work. Like, because usually people are all bummed out and their stuff's all broke and stuff. And, like, I just don't like being around it. It puts me in the wrong vibe. And I'm like, I don't like this. But that's where all the money's at. That's what's funny, you know?
The one thing I remember the most is like how there was a lot of twist and binds in all these trees that wouldn't normally been there, but like from the wind and the swell of the water, like the trees would be kind of twisted, and the cutting through the wood was like is kind of it was sketchy.
Yeah, dude, you almost work your way that same way when storm damage happens, stuff gets to twisting. You
Yeah,
can't really work a cut. You almost have to work a notch, a narrow notch down through it, like, and do it that way and widen it, and widen it, and widen it because it just the grain's so twisted up in there. You pinch your saw and it doesn't even look like it should be pinching, and it's like, what is happening? But yeah, I know what you're saying,
yeah, I
and it's
never,
all, you don't know where the tension's at, and it's like, oh my god,
yeah, I never experienced anything like that. It was cool, but I was glad that the heat. It gets hot out here in California, but it's dry. It's not like that humidity down there was rough.
yeah, it's nasty around here, dude. It gets just, I don't know. To tell you the truth, all I've known my whole life is this disgusting heat. Like, I don't know what it's like other places. It actually, I went to Florida one time, and everybody was like, "Man, it's so hot," and I was like, "Yeah, it's hot, but it's okay." Like,
Yeah,
here, it's just hard to breathe. It gets nasty. Like, you just start pouring sweat, and you're standing there. It's like, wow, this is gross.
right.
But
But yeah, that's kind of like that's my tree journey. Really, I just kind of been figuring it out as I go.
that's cool.
Um,
I like it.
it's been I like it. I was thinking about it today. It's like every day you got to overcome your fears and your doubts and all. It's a personal thing.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Like, if you're a person who's a problem solver and likes to do that kind of thing, it's a different puzzle every day.
Yeah.
You're never going to get the same one twice.
Nope.
You may get similar, but never the same. So that's cool. So what kind of saws do you use? Steel, Husqvarna, Noker,
Uh,
um, X?
no NO′KERS.
Okay, okay.
We we're kind of spoiled in the chainsaw category, but we mostly run steels.
Yeah.
Um, and although I we have some echoes too that uh 2511 Ts that I like a lot.
We
Uh,
used to have one of the bigger ones. It was like a 8,000 or something like that. I can't even remember what the number because they have the wildest numbers, but it was a massive saw. It was like a 4 foot bar, but it ran good. It ran really good. So I've never had an issue with Echo saws. It's just my dad told me that's what he used. It never messed up on him. So I'm like, I'm not looking to experiment. I'm just gonna buy what's worked. So that's kind of why I stick with them.
yeah, we mostly run steels, like but the the 2511 T, it's pretty nice for just climbing and living. It's like 5 pounds.
Yeah. No one can understand that there how much of a difference there is. Okay, if you're somebody who uses a 193 or a 194, those are still heavy.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're somebody who uses a 200 or a 201, and you move to like a 150 or that 2511T.
Yeah.
It is like having a handsaw in your hand.
Yeah, it is. We got the quarter pitch bars on everything that we run, so it's
That
pretty.
originally that didn't make any sense to me that a quarter inch would work good, but it's cutting less wood. It gets through quicker
Yeah,
and it's so precise. Like if you're doing pruning, you're gonna make a good flush cut instead of it like slivering or tearing or anything. It just makes such a smooth cut.
yeah. We enjoy it, but we have a 201 and a 193, and then we have like a, what is it, 540i Husky battery.
Yeah.
But and I like that battery saw actually. It's pretty good saw. It's kind of nice not to have to start the saw ever. It's
Yeah.
kind of, but the trigger got stuck on it, and it's we just got it fixed, so I haven't been using it.
Shoot. Yeah, that would be the only thing that I worry about. I seen kind of the faultiness of some of the steel ones and how long it would take and stuff, but then everything I've seen about that Husky, it seems like it's they figured it out and they figured it out quick.
Yeah, it cuts great. It's a really good saw. The downside is, like, I think it was like $1,000 or $1,100, and
Oh
you could buy
wow.
194 for what, 450, $500. So, like,
Yeah, dang.
so, but and then I don't know. We run our bigger saws. We have a 500i, a couple 500s, and 462, which I
Um,
think 462 is a great saw.
okay, let's say you had to give one up today. The 500 or the 462. You had to give one up. You're not going to have it no more to use. Which one?
Probably the 500.
You would give it up, huh?
I would, because the 462, they're so light, and the yeah, maybe they don't have as much power as the 500, but I mean, do you really need it? Like, like, do you really need the power?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I think about that. We have ported saws, and it's like, I get it, but is it necessary? I don't know.
I don't know. There are those cases where it's absolutely necessary
Yeah,
because
sure.
a guy with a powerful saw can make it through that tree that's got the crack in it before it barber chairs. Where a guy that is running that bog and saw, the tree's got all that time to flex on the hinge. I've seen people end up with barber chairs all because their saw was dull. It took too long to cut through. So it's
Right.
like I don't know. There are those times where you see where they got the extra power and they're blocking something down, and if the saw wasn't ported or nothing, it would pinch every time as they do that block. But
Yeah.
because that little extra power, it it goes through, and then you're so yeah. But I get the same thing. Is it worth all the extra for that little bit of power, especially when you have enough power in the 462 and stuff?
Yeah, I think the 462, it's a great chainsaw. It's really great. But I mean, but the 500, it's fun to run. It's a pleasure to run, but if I had to let one go, I'd let the 500 go, I think.
So I seen Dan, the tree man here, said that he said his 562 burnt up. I think that was that little back handle one he had that was like that he had ported or something. And that thing seemed like a ripper, but like if I'm being straight up honest, my favorite chainsaw as far as back handle, I know this sounds so crazy, but it's a 362.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just being straight up. It pulls a 20. I was told don't put anything over like an 18 on it, and I was like, what? And with a little bit extra work to it, it pulls a 25 and it screams. So it's like I don't know. I don't know what people. I heard that originally there was a bunch of junk ones, I think, and people had issues with them.
Yeah.
I guess they got it figured out because I think mine's the CM 362 CM. It is my favorite saw. It's so light, so much power.
Yeah. The bar sizes are always kind of weird because if you look, even if you look at the 500i, I think it's the recommended bar is 25, 24, and it's like, but we run 32,
Yeah,
32 inch our 500, no problem. So I think you could. I mean, I run a what 14 inch. I think it's 14 or 16 inch bar on that 500 or that 2511T quarter pitch.
yeah,
Does it just fine.
yeah. I mean, I think August runs a 20-inch on his 200.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always ran a 16, but I mean, what you're getting is you get a little more power if you want to downsize the bar. You get a little more torque, a little more speed with the chain because it's not as much bar to move, and chain to move. So it may be a little snappier if you go down in size on the bar, and you could lose a little bit of that snappiness by adding length, but it pulls so good. I got told there's no way that it will pull that and work. You'll burn the saw. And I'm like, well, I'll burn the clutch out, whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I feel like it'll be fine. And I've just ran it ever since. It's my favorite saw.
Yeah, it is a good saw. But and I think what else? We have one husky, a big one, but we hardly ever use it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same way with I have my 660. It may actually be an 066. I don't remember. It's so old. It doesn't even have a brake at all. It has no brake. So no one ever points that out, which is nice because I mean, it broke off and like it cost so much to get one. I was like, no. And then now I guess I could get a knockoff one or something. They probably make a knockoff one that I could use, but I got so used to using it and I don't use it that often that it's not a saw that I'm out walking around and moving and like jumping over brush with. If I'm using it, I'm right next to a log. I don't need to hit the brake 50 times. So kind of sucks to start it though.
Set it on a log.
Yeah, this is what I do. I mean, if I'm using it, usually the tree there's already stuff on the ground. And I use it to start it. But
Yeah.
what did I see there? Dan said, or no, tree veteran born again says sold my 562 as rural. Too hot. Really? 24. Wow. The Canadian loggers run 36 on a 500i and 32s. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah,
I mean, why not?
seems like it worked just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to bend over. Buck and Billy Ray, he's right with this stand up and buck.
Yeah.
Like, if you got that extra bar, you're gonna save your back and be able to use it. It's not the smartest thing to always be using the tip of the bar, especially when you're running a big old long bar. You can make it a little kickback. Just
Yeah.
keep a good grip on it. That's it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
normally
definitely go
ev-
longer if I can.
everything we're cutting, typically we're cutting with the 32 or 36 inch bar, I mean, that's just our location. That's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have to pull mine out too often. It's usually stump cuts and that very last bit of the log because so much of our tree, like trees that grow, have that low lying V syndrome where it's just this little stubby trunk that's
Yeah.
real fat and then it forks out a billion times, which makes them susceptible to breaking all the time. So, but that's most of our trees is like that. We don't have a whole lot of evergreens at all.
Yeah. But those trees are hard. They're hard to climb, if you're not used to it. I mean, we may be climbing big trees, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I see it's wild to see how a certain technique can be so incredibly useful in one area and not be as useful in another, like speed lining. When you're
Yeah.
doing the pines, you're doing the rungs all the way up, dude. That's genius, you know. And you try to use that in this, the canopy's so wide, it's a total different world. It doesn't work the same, you
Right.
know. Yeah, it's wild to see. It's definitely wild to see, and it's a total different climb when you're dealing with those weird, where you're staring at your tie-in point from 50 feet away, and you're like, "Well, this ain't right. I hope I don't slip," you know.
Yeah. I'd like to do some of that kind of work one of these days.
Dude, just hit me up if you ever get in my area.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'd be cool to do because and sometimes we'll get like a oak or something, or maybe a maple here and there, but it's usually just pines and Doug fir.
Hey, whatever pays the bills.
Yeah, we'll take it for sure, but do something a little different sometimes.
Yeah. Dude, I almost got me too the other day by some women. It was the craziest thing. Let me tell you guys. That job that I was telling you about that went through the pole barn, I got there and I started working. And all of a sudden, here comes this little SUV pulling up. And I'm like, oh, I moved my stuff. And I'm like, go ahead. They drove underneath the tree. Like their hood of their car is almost like hitting it. They drove underneath it and they waved. We was nice. Everything was good. And I'm like, cool. So they left. I did the work I could do, and the whole tree's resting on a 2x6. I'm like, I'm not adding no more weight. I'm not climbing it. I went and grabbed a Bill Jack's lift, brought a scissor lift back, or a little extendable Bill Jack's out, and I started to work on it. Well, here they come back, and they go to cut through the yard. Like the people who own the pole barn just cut through their yard, and you can tell where someone else has already done that, and there's like ruts that are about this deep and about this wide. They're full of water, and the whole area there is about 6 inches of standing water everywhere. And I'm like, whoa, no, 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 stop, 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 no, don't. And I had the guy that was there with me stop them. I'm like, stop. And they kind of got mad. And she stuck her head out the window, and I said, hold on, it's I don't want you guys to get stuck going through there. Just I left the lift hooked to the truck in case this happened. I just come down real quick, pull the legs up, move, go through. Um, so I told her, I'm like, hold on, let me just move my lift. It's no problem. I don't care. She goes, well, how about you just mind your business? And I said, huh? She said, we've been doing this all weekend. You worry about yourself. She pulled forward 2 foot and buried that thing.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh my God. Then she started cussing me up and down. Started telling me, get your ass down right now and get the fuck off my private drive. And I'm like, whoa, easy. You need to chill out. I was like, how did this turn into my fault? She kept going and going and going. I was like, okay. Well, I tell you what, I was coming down to pull you out. You figure out how to get yourself out now. I was like, how you feel? I told you you was gonna get stuck. And I walked off. She got mad, mad. Well, that was after I got cussed 50 times. So I was like, I was over it. So I went back to working, and all of a sudden, I wasn't paying attention. And I looked behind me, and the mom had came back, and she's telling the homeowner something crazy, dude. Just ignorant. That I bullied them, and that I'm the most unreasonable man she's ever met in her life. And that I'm like, whoa, what is. No! I'm 60 foot in the air. How am I getting aggressive with you? Like, doesn't make any sense. So I hear it and I walk over and I was like, hold up. Like, I don't want to argue or nothing, but I can't let you do that. You can't go telling that story. You see that little thing? This was setting on the basket. I said, you see that little black thing there? That's a camera. It recorded you and everything you did. You just want to watch the video back? Or we just want to drop this? She got so worried. She started freaking. And she started hollering at me again in front of the people. And they're like, whoa, what are you hollering? She got mad again. And I'm like, God dang. So finally I walked off. And then as I walk off, my daughter's sitting there arguing with her. And I'm like, hey, don't argue with that lady. Like, stop. Because it was right next to my in law's house. And so apparently after she left, Thank God she didn't ask to watch it because I don't think I got it all. I got part of it, and I'm so glad she wasn't like, "Yeah, let's watch it." But dude, I couldn't believe what she was doing. She's like, "You got aggressive with us," and we were just—it's just me and my daughter. It's just two women, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" I can't believe I almost got canceled, like out of nowhere. That's crazy. I was like, "That's disgusting. You can't do that to a guy. Come on." So I
There-
hope I got a bunch of it on video. That way I can show a bunch of it, and you can see her silly ass get stuck, which was pretty funny.
yeah, if you, I miss half of my video. I feel like it up every day.
Every time, it never fails. You're like, or you do the whole job, and you're like, well, the hard. I think on this job, I get everything except for the very last cut where I'm going to swing the whole log around and drop it in the edge of the road, and I made a notch, and it was going to collapse in on itself and come out of the barn. I got all the way to me starting the saw and starting the back cut, and camera went off. You're
But
kidding me.
it's a fine line between sometimes we just don't have time to film. Like we just got to get it done. And
Yep.
and
Yeah. I think that was the issue there. Normally, I would have looked at my camera, seen how much time was left, on the SD card because it shows, and then put it back up and then did it. But
yeah,
my brain was on something. I don't want this barn to get smashed, and I'm like, I put it up there, I pushed record, and I just took for granted it was recording. As soon as I finished that cut, and it slowly collapsed on itself, it pops out of there perfect, and I look back at the camera, and I'm like, it's not blinking red no more. It's not even lit up. I'm like, God, dog it. And then I watched it back, and of course, it got right to where I started the back cut, and then she cut off. So that's my luck when it comes to tree work. I
I know.
get like maybe one out of every three, maybe.
I know. Always like, oh, I want to watch that clip, and I go back and it was like a photo.
Yeah, it's always that one good clip too. I'm telling you, it gets aggravating. I appreciate the hell out of you doing this. I'm being honest. I had no idea what I was going to do for this live feed.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. I'm glad I made it. I was like, I got your text, and I was like, just getting ready to leave. I was like, man, I'm not gonna have service for a minute.
Well,
So
that gives a chance for me to kind of introduce you. I want to do it again. Give me time to kind of prepare because there's some, like, maybe some other questions maybe I can ask you that'll let people know about you a little more. But maybe this can draw some traffic over to the channel too and kind of introduce you to everybody. I mean, I would like to almost get everybody that's in our group on here at some point so you can put a face to the names.
yeah,
So I like that. I think that's cool.
yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, but that's the gist of my story. Is I quit I quit my 15-year career and started a tree business.
Hey, it's a story, man. It is. That's wild. That's cool. I like it. I
Yeah.
mean, you're definitely flying by the seat of your pants, and you're committed, and that's cool.
Well, that's what I've always. I can't remember, one of my old bosses told me this. He said, "There's no such thing as failure for a committed man." And
I
so
like I
I
like that.
I just press on, and no matter what happens, um, because I made some business mistakes. Like nothing crazy, but just kind of stupid thing, like blowing past my workers' comp. Like just making that projection and being way off because I don't know. I didn't know at first like how what I'm gonna have in wages or whatnot, and then at the end of the year you thought, man, I actually made some money, and then you get the workers comp audit and they're like, yeah, you owe us 13 grand. So it's like I've made some mistakes like that, but I don't really care. I just keep going.
All it was, if a mistake was made, you made yourself a different puzzle or problem to solve. That's, I mean, if you attack things like you say you do, look at it like a tree job. Attack a
Yeah,
little bit until you get it figured out.
yeah,
Nothing
so
to it.
it's been good, but we've been, let's see, I think 2017 is when I went full time doing it, so we've made it this far.
Yeah, you've got your time and you've got the hardest part in, which is really nice to get that first few years in. and just make sure you're trying to just do the people right. And then like those years almost you have to advertise so hard. Like you need to really kind of focus in that. But then after those few years, you can kind of back away and like the repeat
Yeah,
customers, the word of mouth can keep you going.
yeah, we for sure. Like we don't all, I don't, we don't advertise at all. We just we have social media and that's it. And I would say that very few of our jobs actually come from social media. It's all word of mouth, mostly. And
I mean, and the way the world is, you would think that's kind of an obsolete thing. But just because people aren't physically talking to each other, neighbors outside, doesn't mean they're not on their phones talking to each other.
we,
So where before you'd be at the barber shop and somebody be like, "Hey, I know a guy," or this or that, or you're walking and you run into it. But nowadays you just get on your Facebook or whatever, and somebody's talking about it, or you can ask, "Hey, I need a tree guy." And if you're doing people a good job, I think I think you set yourself up. You gotta tough out the first few. It's the first few years is going to be tough. You're building kind of a platform to go from, like to grow off of, and it's hard, but it can get easier after those first few years for sure.
yeah, it was tough because I felt like we got going and then COVID hit right when I felt like, all right, I'm kind of figuring it out. And
That would be right, man. Like right as you're really getting it
it,
settled in and things are dialed in, that happened, huh?
yeah, and then
I think about that.
but you know what's crazy is that year we prospered. Like I don't really understand it, but we were so busy. I think we didn't work for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then we never stopped after that. It just I don't know if people were at home like bored, like yeah, we need to get work done, but we got so busy.
Yeah,
And
people like to do stuff. So
yeah,
it's like where they would normally probably go out and buy something decorative for their house or do something like that. They're like, I'm not allowed to go anywhere, but I can call this guy. He would show up and he would do stuff at my house, and he can do it. Like, and I could be doing something. So I think a lot of people didn't realize that that was going to happen. I definitely did. Like, I expected it to be a ghost town. Like, you
right.
not no call, no nothing. You're just going to bum and figure it out. Hopefully, you're setting on some money. But it was different. It really didn't change too much, if I'm being honest, for me.
Yeah, no, for me neither. I said just that couple 3 weeks where I was going, man, I don't know what this is gonna look like, and then
Yeah, enough to scare you.
yeah, and then I think let's see what happened. We got a call from a guy who wanted to put in a big solar panel thing, and we ended up clearing like 2 acres, and that
Oh
kept.
shoot.
So I was very thankful for that.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one good one to make up for all that time away, kind of get you back started. That's tough. I seen a lot of people that were ready to just throw their hands up though because of that couple weeks. They didn't know they started to freak out and spaz out, and they're looking to sell their equipment, and this and that. And it's like, hang on, man, hold up, hang on a second. Let's see what it'll do. But yeah, it's weird to even think about how things were then. It's like you go to the gas station and it was like dead, and like people looked at you like you shouldn't even be out. It's like, hang on, I'm doing tree work, like chill out. But
Well, I probably the best part of California, and like it's definitely a small community, and I feel like COVID it only lasted for about a month, and then everyone said hell with this.
yep, that's what they did around here. I'm telling you, man. So probably very similar because if we were going to like little podunk towns, little bitty towns, and those people didn't care. I don't even know if they had changed anything. Only thing that was like different for them is like a lot of their jobs weren't going. They weren't working.
Right.
But other than that, I'd see no one be wearing a mask or anything, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like it is what it is. I'm okay with getting sick, but I don't think I would have. I'm almost glad my mom was sick at the time because like it gave me a little bit of respect for it, and I didn't run my mouth about it because normally I just run my mouth about it and be all over my page and stuff. It's a lie. It's trash. Who cares? But my mom was sick with her breathing at the time and stuff, and if she had caught it, it would have been like death sentence.
Right.
And so that's the only reason I gave even the slightest bit of a damn about it was because of that. Because I was about to, but this guys get over it. Come on, let's just get back to life. But
Yeah.
I'm glad things have finally gotten back because it was not cool. I didn't like it. Work didn't change, but just everything else got weird. I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's over too, and we're now, where we're going now. I mean, I never had we've always had work, and we've never had in the winter time if it's winter, but we do commercial, and that keeps us busy.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that is so awesome. Well, guys, I'm actually gonna get to work on a video now that I got a little bit of time. I've had a video ready to be uploaded. Man, I have just eventually I'll let everybody know. Hopefully, I made it through this without being too spacey because my brain is not here, man. Like it's not here, and I'll explain later on after I can deal with it myself before I say anything. But yeah, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you doing this because you kind of saved
Yeah.
me here.
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
had I
Glad
had nothing to do.
I like your channel. It's a good. It inspires
Dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, and anybody who watches this, if you like tree work, you like to see a guy that is basically like he said, just jumped into it and said, "I got this. I'm gonna do this." Go check Jerry's channel out. I'll go over and maybe get a link from your channel and put it in the comments, and we'll see if we can get some people over there and kind of bump the subscribers and stuff up. But yeah, I totally clickbaited them though with the thumbnail. So
Oh, I didn't even see it.
I want Noker on them for the thumbnail. It's gonna stir some stuff up because he said if anybody talks negative about Noker chainsaws, you're getting a lawsuit. And so I'm like, all right, I'll poke a little fun at the same time. And I just didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't actually think you were gonna make it. When I seen you pop up, I'm like, thank God, I can stop thinking so much. I clicked on it. So thanks again, buddy. And
Yeah.
guys, go over and check Jerry's channel out. I will
Thank,
catch everybody next week, or you'll see me when I put this next video out. All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Mike.
Stay
See you.
safe, buddy.
You too.